about this briefly, but there are some elements that must be in a graph. So the core element of a graph includes these five. So title of graph, the title of each phase, and data. X-axis, Y-axis, you have to label those, and you must have phase changing line. So this is an example. This is the title of this graph. You must include student's name and target behavior. So Maddie's insit. So students target behavior, that must be the title. And I label each phase baseline and intervention with intervention strategy I'm using. So A phase with baseline and B phase with token economy, because token economy was the intervention strategy I used. Okay, x-axis, y-axis, sessions. This one usually doesn't change, so you can just keep it as it is. And duration, you must change this if you're using other than duration. So if you're using frequency, you have to change this to frequency, or in percentage, or latency, whatever method you're using. So this is a place you can put the data collection methods. And here I have 1, 2, 3 baseline data, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 intervention data, right? And this gray line is the data phase changing line. So you must have these elements in a graph. You don't have to care about these two lines. This black line is called trend line, and this red line is called aim line. But we are not going to talk about these lines in our class. Anyway, you must include these five elements, and you must when you complete graphing your data, you must check that if you have these five core elements for your graph. Okay, now let's talk about how to graph your data. If you open the uploaded Excel file, you will see this kind of screen. So I already entered the hypothetical data for your convenience. So I ask you to collect 3 stable baseline data and more than 5 intervention data. In this graph, I have 1, 2, 3 baseline, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 intervention data. So once you have your own data, you can just enter your baseline data here, row 1, 2, 3, which I highlight in red. And then after you collect intervention data, you can start enter your data from row 4 to 10, or whatever number of intervention you have. You can just enter your data. I use frequency for Greg, but if you're using percentage, you can just change like here. And session, it usually doesn't change, so just keep it as it is. And then you have to change the title. So title, whatever name, Sunny's on task behavior. So that's the title of my graph. And then you must change this labeling. So baseline, always baseline, but B phase, the intervention phase, should be changed with your own intervention name, strategy. So initially I have verbal prompts, but if I use something different, let's say I use reinforcement or positive praise, then you can just enter, you can just say like that. Now, let's say you're using percentage or duration, whatever method, data collection method you're using, um, you'll have different scale of data. If you are using percentage, the number must be larger than these, right? So let's say 10% in the first baseline, 15% in the second baseline, and 17% in the third baseline. Oh, I see. This is label baseline. So I move on to intervention phase and collect data. And the first intervention session, I receive 80%, 100%, 90%. Next day, 85%. This is hypothetical data, right? Hundreds. 95, 100 again. You don't see all of the data because I have to change the scale. You can double click the scale and you will see this kind of display. And you click scale and change the maximum to 100 and then major unit, minor unit 10. And then I can move a little bit. I can move this one a little bit. Okay, now I can see everything, right? So I have, let me see, I need to move a little bit over to make it better. You can just play around with this Excel file, so you can just make it pretty. So this is a complete set. If you use duration, change duration and enter your own data, and you can also change your scale too. Make sure you change the title and label the each phase correctly, and then make sure you have phase changing line. So this is all you need to have. So you can use the uploaded file as a template. You can enter your data. You can play around a little bit to make it pretty. And then you can use your graph. You can just screenshot of this page and then you can attach to your document when you submit your final project.